Deep in the heart of a forgotten jungle, where vines choke ancient cliffs and the air hums with secrets, a narrow crevice splits the stone. Inside, darkness swallows the light, but a flicker from a torch reveals something extraordinary. Walls, alive with stories, human-like figures, spears in hand, chase wild beasts across a canvas of rock. This is no ordinary scene, it's a drama, a myth, a heartbeat frozen in time. On Indonesia's Sulai Island, this cave painting, perhaps the oldest tale ever told, whispers of a people who saw the world not just with their eyes, but with their souls. These early humans didn't merely hunt, they wove narratives, threading emotion and meaning into every stroke. Their art wasn't survival, it was aspiration, a leap towards something greater. Picture it, a fire crackles as shadows dance on the cave walls, a group gathers, their faces lit by the glow, eyes wide with wonder. One of them, perhaps a storyteller or a shaman, traces the painted figures with a callous finger, recounting a hunt not just for food but for understanding. The animals, boars, deer, creatures long vanished taunt. Not just prey, they're characters in a cosmic play, symbols of strength, mystery, or gods. This scene, etched over 40,000 years ago, tells us our ancestors were more than wanderers, they were dreamers, their minds alight with plots and possibilities, blurring the line between the practical and the profound. Now shift your gaze across continents to Bulgaria's Mura Cave, where the air is cool and damp and the walls pulse with life. Deer leap, goats prance, and a woolly rhinoceros extinct for millennia charges in vivid red and black. These aren't mere sketches. They're alive, crafted with strokes so precise they captured the ripple of muscle, the flick of a tail. Artists, huddled in the flickering light, didn't just draw what they saw, they honored what they felt. Awe, fear, reverence. These animals were their world, their sustenance, their spirits. Each painting is a historical document, a snapshot of an Ice Age landscape, but also a spiritual map, charting what these people worshipped, what they hoped to control through the magic of art. The cave is silent now, but its walls shout. They tell of rituals where paint was more than pigment, it was power. Imagine a young hunter trembling as they entered the cave, guided by an elder. The air grows heavy, the darkness pressing close. They dip their fingers in ochre, press them to the stone, and blow pigment through a hollow reed, leaving a handprint that says, "I am here." In Argentina's Cave of the Hands, 9,300 years ago, this act wasn't just art, it was a declaration of belonging, a vow to the group, the land, the unseen forces that governed their lives. These stenciled hands, surrounded by haunting scenes, speak of community, of shared purpose. They weren't individuals marking their ego. They were a people claiming their place in a vast, untamed world. But the story grows stranger. Deeper in Spain's La Pasica cave, marks older than 64,000 years challenge everything we thought we knew. These simple shapes, dots, lines, figures were painted not by our species, but by Neanderthals. Once dismissed as brute cousins, their art deliberate and symbolic proves they pondered the abstract, shared ideas, built culture. Picture a Neanderthal crouching in the cave's belly, etching a mark that meant something, a star, a spirit, a memory. This discovery rewrites history, showing intelligence and creativity aren't ours alone, they're woven into the roots of our lineage, a spark that burned long before we walked the earth. Travel west of France's Chauvet Cave, where the walls seem to breathe. Lions snarl, mammoths trumpet, horses gallop with limbs doubled, tripled, as if caught in motion. These aren't static drawings, they're motion itself. An early attempt at animation. The artists, working by torchlight, didn't just see animals, they felt their energy, their sacredness. Perhaps these images were part of rituals, a way to summon the animal's spirits before a hunt. Or maybe they were prayers, offerings to a world both beautiful and terrifying. The cave, hidden deep in the earth, feels like a temple, its art, a bridge between the seen and unseen. In India's Bhimbetka rock shelters, the story stretches across millennia. Here, art evolves like a living thing. Early paintings of hunters and beasts give way to abstract symbols, spirals, zigzags, grids. These shelters weren't just homes, they were schools of thought, where generations learned to tell stories, to pray, to bind their community. Imagine a child, wide-eyed, watching an elder paint a new symbol, its meaning whispered in a tongue. Lost to time, these images trace humanity's growth from instinct to intellect, from survival to spirituality. They show art wasn't decoration, it was the thread that held society together. Far away, in Brazil's Serra da Capivara National Park, over 30,000 rock paintings unfold like a cosmic scroll. A figure gazes at the stars, arms raised as if reaching for eternity. This image, nearly 20,000 years old, hints at something profound. Our ancestors didn't just live on the earth, they looked beyond it. They saw patterns in the sky, stories in the seasons. Their art wasn't just about the hunt or the herd, it was about the cosmos, the mysteries of existence. These paintings, scattered across cliffs, tell of a people who didn't just survive, they wondered, they questioned, they dreamed. Even small objects carried this weight. In remote hills, engraved stones, small enough to fit in a palm, bear intricate designs, animals, symbols, patterns. These weren't just trinkets, they were a mobile gallery, carried by nomads across vast plains. Picture a trader crossing deserts, pulling a carved stone from their pack to share with a stranger. The motifs, repeated across continents, suggest a shared language: a bison in France, a spiral in India, a handprint in Argentina. These portable artworks hint at ancient networks, where ideas flowed like rivers, connecting tribes, beliefs, and histories. But time is cruel. These fragile sites face threats: rising seas, crumbling cliffs, careless hands. In France, Chauvet's original paintings 14,000 years old are locked away, preserved only through a replica. Spain's El Castellar cave, with its 40,000-year-old red discs, stands at a cliff's edge, its whispers fading, yet efforts to protect them grow. Scientists build replicas, map every stroke, decode every symbol. These acts of preservation are more than science, their reverence, a promise to keep our ancestors' voices alive. Each cave, each mark, is a message. A handprint on a wall says, "We were here." A bison, glowing in ochre's glow, says, "We sought beauty." A spiral etched in stone says, "We sought meaning." These artworks aren't ornaments, they were essential, as vital as fire or food. They show early humans weren't just survivors, they were visionaries. They didn't paint to pass the time, they painted to defy it, to leave something eternal in a world of dust and bone. Deep in those caves, where light barely reaches, the artists worked. They crawled through tunnels, scaled cliffs, their torches guttering. The act of creation was sacred, a journey into the earth's heart. Imagine the silence, broken only by the scrape of stone or the drip of water. They painted not for glory, but for meaning, to honor the animals they hunted, to speak to spirits, to bind their people. Some believe these caves were sanctuaries, where shamans entered trances, their visions spilling onto the walls. Half-human, half-animal figures, therianthropes, dance in the shadows, perhaps gods, perhaps dreams, perhaps both. The animals dominate: bison, mammoths, lions. They're not just food, they're power, mystery, life itself. In Chauvet, a lion's eyes gleam, its body taut with motion. In Mora, a rhinoceros charges, its horn a slash of red. These creatures were revered, their spirits invoked through art. Some say the paintings were hunting magic, meant to capture the animal's essence before the spear struck. Others see them as worship, a way to honor the creatures that shaped their role in their world. In cultures today, artists still draw to summon spirits, to heal, to guide. Perhaps our ancestors did the same. Their caves are sacred space, where the physical and spiritual met. Symbols add mystery: dots, spirals, zigzags, simple, yet deliberate, appear across the earth. In India, they might track seasons or moons. In France, they might mark rituals. Some call them proto-writing, the first step toward language. Imagine a woman carving a spiral into a stone, her mind counting the stars, cycles. These marks weren't random, they were intentional, a code for something greater. Their repetition from Australia to Europe suggests a universal grammar, a human urge to order the chaos of existence. They weren't just art, they were thought, crystallized. These discoveries shift us. They show our ancestors weren't primitive, they were profound. They didn't just live, they created. They believed, they connected. Each cave is a chapter in a story that spans millennia. From Sulay's jungles to Argentina's cliffs, the paintings, the handprints, the symbols, they're not relics. They're voices, speaking across time. We felt, they say we feared, we hoped. We were human. As we stand in their caves today, torchlight replaced by LEDs, we feel their presence in the air. Their art isn't silent, it sings. It tells of a world where every stroke was a prayer, every image a story, every handprint a vow. They didn't know us, but they left these gifts, messages carved in stone, painted in pigment, preserved in darkness. They remind us that art isn't a luxury, it's our essence. It's what makes us human, what binds us to the past, what carries us forward.